What's up guys, it's Taylor and I'm back with another video. Like I always say, you already know the deal if you read the title. Today I'm recapping episode 4 of the Challenge Total Madness on MTV. Just like last episode, things are starting to heat up. The season's starting to, get the ball rolling. Basically the episode starts off with everybody coming back from the elimination. CT and Jay's elimination. CT got eliminated and, everybody's kind of, I would say, reeling from that, nobody, I don't think anybody expected CT to go home, and they definitely didn't expect him to go home against Jay. So that was that. But the episode starts off with everybody coming back from that. First scene we see Ashley and Maddie are talking. As we know, Ashley doesn't really have anybody this season. Her usual alliance members aren't here, to have her back, so she and Maddie are kind of talking, considering, having an alliance. It's a girls' day, they need to have each other's back. And so they have that conversation, and we kind of see them, I don't want to say form an alliance, but we kind of see them, be like, okay, you don't say my name, I'm gonna say your name. So we kind of see that. After that, Jay is hype. Yeah, Jay is hype. He took out CT. Rogan's, you can see him in the background. He's not, he's like, look, I still got to take this guy out. I'm not really worried about that. I don't care that he took out CT. I need to take him out. But Jay's hype about that, as he should be. That's a big win. He said that he grew up watching this show. He used to watch CT on TV. So to be able to have the opportunity to come into this game and actually compete against CT and take him out, that's a big thing for him. So he definitely has every right to be excited about that. Also in this scene, we see Bear and Kayla, and I think we all know as viewers where this situation is going. Kayla at the time had a boyfriend, so she's, and we kind of see this, but she's not really feeding into Bear's advances. And Bear, he's being Bear. He's being silly. He's being, boisterous and everything like that. Trying to get her attention, trying to get her to like him. And I think she might like him. She might like him. She might think he's handsome and stuff like that. But at the time, she did have a boyfriend, so she's probably really not worried about that. But he's constantly trying to impress her. So we see that. And after she leaves the room, she goes into the room with a bunch of other people. I think Nani, Bananas, Casey, and a few other people were in that room. And Bear decides to come in with the fire extinguisher and just light them up. Now, I feel two ways about this, because like I said, it's Bear. He's literally, and I don't necessarily mean this in a bad way, Bear is literally a man-child. Like, he is a man-child. Like, he is immature, but he does stuff to get people's attention. He does stuff on purpose. He does it to get camera time. He does it to upset people. That's just his MO. That's who he is. So by this point, we're used to that, But yeah, the whole fire extinguisher thing, I don't think it was cool. Although, I will say, what happens after that with him and Ashley getting into it, and then Ashley spitting on him, is a tricky situation. I do think, like I said, the whole fire extinguisher thing was childish. Those things are full of poisonous gas. You shouldn't be playing around with that, spraying it on people and stuff like that. But spitting on someone isn't the way to go about things. Now, I'm not upset at Ashley. I'm not upset at Ashley at all, but I'm not upset at her about being upset about the situation. Like I said, this poisonous gas and stuff like that. She had every right to be upset about that situation, but spitting on people is never an answer. We saw Nani go after Bear too. She was yelling at him, going after him and stuff like that. To me, if Ashley would have responded like that, which, she did, but she also spit on him. But if she would have just responded like Nani responded, then it just would have been an argument. But for her to spit on him, I don't know about all that, don't necessarily agree with it, but Bear's a man-child, so both of them were wrong. That's all I can really say. But that happens. Ashley and Maddie, who we just saw try to, form an alliance with each other, they're going at it. Maddie has Bear's back. She's like, look, spitting on somebody, that's too much. And then, they're saying below the belt comments about each other, talking about Maddie's DUI, and then Maddie's like, oh, I'm sure you had worse in your mouth. And, below the belt stuff that is highly unnecessary, but they're going back and forth. Nani and Maddie also almost get into it. It's a crazy sight, but it gets broken up and it doesn't go any further than that. So that was that scene. But pretty quickly, the next scene, we get right into this week's challenge. Now, this week's challenge is called the Cold War. And I would not want to do this challenge if I was them. So basically, what everybody has to do is they'll be in teams of 5. There'll be 3 divers and 2 breakers. So 2 breakers, so while one team's divers is in the water, the 2 breakers from the other team that they're going against, or just another team, I guess, they are breaking ice and sending it down a chute into the already freezing cold water that the divers are looking for puzzle pieces in. So basically, the first team that is up is, I believe, Nelson, Kayla, and Dee, and the 2 breakers from the other team are gonna be Nani and Ashley. So basically, TJ blows the horn. Nelson, Dee, and Kayla, they get into the water. They're searching for the puzzle pieces. And right away, their bodies are reacting to the water. We see, you know, them talking about how they can't even feel their fingertips. It's freezing cold. Their teeth are chattering, and it's crazy. TJ asked them first if they want to quit. They say they're not quitting. They try to give it another go, but TJ eventually comes over and he's like, "Get out of the water. You guys are done." And so they all get out of the water. They all have to go to the medics. Nelson can barely walk. It's crazy. You know, and he ends up having to go to the hospital. They end up taking Nelson to the hospital because I think he had hypothermia, and it was no joke. It was absolutely no joke. I'm glad that you know, they didn't let them go further with that. These challenges that require them to push their body to the limits, I understand. The human body can do amazing things, you know what I'm saying, if you push it. You never know what your limits are till you push them, you know what I'm saying. But certain things, you know, like these dangerous things like hypothermia, and then, you know, when they use spiders and snakes and stuff like that, I don't know if they safe check these challenges, but they should really do that. I feel like they shouldn't put people in these situations if they could possibly, you know, die from them. I mean, to be fair, you can get hurt in a heights over water challenge or anything like that, but I don't know. I just feel like maybe they should go for a little safer challenge. You know, call me corny or whatever you will, but I don't want to see people almost die to prove that they're a great competitor. Like, that's not what that means to me. You know what I'm saying? I want people to be safe. You can be safe and still be a great competitor. But so that was that team. They had to forfeit, so that doesn't really count. Actually, now that I think about it, I think I actually got it mixed up. The first team to get into the water was actually Fessy, Rogan, Josh, and Fessy, and Swaggy C and Jordan were the breakers. So yeah, they're the breakers. And so basically, Rogan, Josh, and Fessy, they do pretty good. They do pretty good in finding the puzzle pieces. I think the very last one gave them some trouble, but once they got it, they got it. They get out of the water. They go to fix the puzzle, and they struggle because, I'm not gonna call them dumb because I don't know them, but the 3 of them couldn't really get it. I mean, they got it figured out eventually, obviously, but they had a hard time. Ashley's thinking, you know, I should have been in there. I'm good at puzzles. I should have been in, you know, I should have been a part of that. But it is what it is. They finally get it. Do they have the best time? We'll get to that. I already talked about Nelson, Kayla, and Dee. The next team to go in are Jay, Tori, and Wes, and Big T and Casey are the breakers from the other team. So starting off, they get into the water. They're actually doing pretty well. I don't think that they had any like major problems or anything like that. They get into the water, they get all the pieces and everything like that, and they get out, they do the puzzle, and they get it done. The next team after that is Bananas, Anissa, and Bear, and the breakers are Jenna and Jenny. Bananas, Anissa, and Bear actually work pretty well together. You know, they get in there, they get the pieces and everything like that, and they get out, they go, and they solve the puzzle. So that was pretty easy. And then I think the last team to get into the water are Corey, Cal, and Bailey. And the breakers are Nani and Ashley again because it's only so many people and they repeat. Or it may have been because the other team, well, no, they were still there because Nelson was the only one to go to the hospital. So yeah, I think because it's only so many people, Nani and Ashley had to repeat. So Corey, Cal, and Bailey, they get into the water. They're looking for the pieces and everything like that, but they the water's also cold to them, and they realize they're not gonna win. So they forfeit. I mean, I guess I can see it. It's a girls' day, so the only person who's really truly in danger on their team is Bailey, but I don't think that Bailey is in any real danger or anything like that. And you know, Corey and Cal, they don't really have to worry about, you know, going in because it's a girls' day. So they're like, look, this water's cold, we're getting out. And so they forfeit that, and that's basically the end of the challenge. One thing I do want to comment on though is I noticed that some of the teams, when they got into the water, some of them had gloves. I don't remember which team it was, but they had gloves on when they got into the water. But when Nelson, Kayla, and Dee were in the water and they were struggling, they didn't have gloves. So I don't know if they decided to give them gloves after they saw what happened to Nelson, or you know, they just weren't wearing gloves. I don't know what the case is, but I just wanted to point that out. That was weird to me. So after everybody's done, TJ announces that the winners are, well, first, before that, whatever team wins, instead of 3 people in Tribunal, it's going to be all 5 people who were on the team that day. And the winning team actually comes out to be Big T, Casey, Anissa, Bear, and Johnny Bananas. So they're the winning team. They're the Tribunal. They're going to pick 3 girls to interrogate, and ultimately who are going to go down on the floor to compete at Purgatory. So after all that, they get back home, and Maddie and Cal are talking. They're talking about Ashley, how, you know, she can't be trusted. She floats to whatever team or whatever alliance is, you know, in power that week, or whatever the case may be. And so, you know, with the house vote coming up, they're thinking about it being Ashley. So also after that, I think we see Nelson come back from the hospital. He's all good. Everything's good. You know, nothing's crazy with him. Good to see that he was okay. That's good. So after all that, it's time for the house meeting. And basically, Cal and Maddie kind of, you know, lead the meeting off. Maddie is the first vote, and of course she votes for Ashley. So does Jenna. Not Jenna. Well, Jenna maybe. I don't know. Jenny, Dee, Nani, Tori. They all vote for Ashley, you know, and they give their reasons. Dee says that, you know, she feels like she can't trust Ashley, or whatever the case may be. And I feel like everybody going around and giving reasoning as to why they vote for somebody. I understand that Ashley was hurt because, you know, after all that, she walks off. She doesn't finish the house meeting. You know, she's going in. She knows she's going in. And, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I felt for her, because it's one thing to say, you know, that you're following the house or whatever, or you can't. I mean, I just feel like it's not the time or the place for that. If you see that every other person before you has, you know, kind of said some comment about why they are voting for Ashley, and you see that she's visibly upset, why would you go out of your way to be like, oh, well, I feel like I can't trust you, I don't know who you are anymore, whatever the fuck Dee said, you know, like, come on now, just say you're voting for her and move on, you know. And then Kyle, you know, he speaks up and he's like, guys, you know, if anybody else has anything to say it now. I don't think it's fair for everybody to go around and kind of rag on Ashley. But like I said, she walked off, so it is what it is. But she puts her name on a thing wherever, you know, whatever they do to prove that they're going in. And she comes back and she's like, y'all better hope that it's not a puzzle or anything like that, because I will beat y'all, you know, I will dust you. So, you know, kudos to Ashley. I said this last week in my recap, but I don't know why everybody's coming at Ashley for trying to make new friends and new alliances. Her alliance isn't there, and you know, you have to adapt in any situation that you're in. You know, everybody calling her a snake and everything like that, I don't know. I mean, I don't know where that's coming from. If you're talking about the situation that happened with Hunter, I'm not going to get into that with this video, but I mean, I feel like she had good reasoning to take that money from him. Any other alliance that she's been a part of, she's been pretty loyal to. The Lavender Ladies, Kara's Cult, as people like to call it, you know, she's been pretty loyal. So I don't know where this whole snake thing is coming from. I don't think that's fair to her, but then again, all's fair in love, war, and challengers, so it is what it is. So Ashley goes in. After all that, everybody gets to go out. They get to have a night out. Big T and Bananas, they're having a conversation. Bananas is hyping Big T up. I just have to say, I love Big T. She's funny. Bananas is hyping her up. Big T ends up going to Nani, Jenna, and Kayla and telling them that the Tribunal is thinking about putting them in, and they're all confused because I'm like, I don't understand why. But I don't know if they knew that she was, I don't know if they were playing along, but I just thought that whole scene was hilarious. Love Big T. I think she's really funny. That was a funny scene. That was a really funny scene. After all that, you know, they get back from the club and everything like that. We have this little scene with Bear, Wes, and Rogan. They're talking. Bear's talking about how he really likes Kayla and everything like that. Kayla's still playing hard to get. Not hard to get. She has a boyfriend, but she's not interested or anything like that. So that's that. But yeah, so that's that little scene. Next scene, it's time for the tribunal. All 5 of them are in there. They're discussing who they want to talk to. They end up picking Dee, Tori, and Maddie. So first up, who they talk to is Maddie. She's like, it's whatever. If I have to go in, I'll go in. Do I necessarily want to? No, but I'll take care of business if need be. It was quick. She was straight to the point. I can appreciate that. I like that in a competitor. The next person is Tori. She said that, here's my thing, and I don't know. Tori, she talks a big game. She's like, you know, if it's physical, I'll go in. I feel like I can beat any girl, but if it's a puzzle, no. And I'm like, girl, like, you talk this big game about how you're a great competitor and everything like that. You don't want to go in if it's a puzzle? Like, can you not do puzzles? Like, I don't understand. Like, I understand, like, strengths and weaknesses, but Tori acts entitled, and honestly, I feel like she gets that from Jordan. If Tori, and I'm not trying to, like, disrespect their relationship or anything like that, but if Tori, I don't want to say if she wasn't with Jordan, if, I don't know, she get the way she acts on this show now opposed to before she was with Jordan is definitely different. She's a good competitor. I'm not saying she's not, but this entitlement has got to go. But that's my opinion on that. But she says if it's physical, she can do it. If it's a puzzle, it's a no-go. So whatever. Next person is Dee. Dee says she missed her shot to take Jenny Lee out the first time. She wants to go back in. She wants to get a red skull, and she feels like she probably feels like she can beat Ashley. Basically, what they also ask her in the tribunal is, you know, last week everybody was kind of plotting to get Bananas to go into elimination and everything like that. Were you a part of that? And she straight up was like, yeah, I was Ashley's, you know, partner and trying to get everybody to vote for Bananas. What about it? Like, she was about it. So I can appreciate her honesty. She didn't really care, and it is what it is. So she was honest about that, and she said she's ready to go in. So that was a tribunal, and we saw that. After all that, it's like a little short scene about how the tribunal's on a power trip and everything like that, and they're, you know, I mean, what do you expect? It's the tribunal, and Bananas was in the tribunal. Of course, they're all gonna be on a power trip. You know, he's like the ringleader in that situation. But yeah, but Tori and Dee, they're like, oh, they're trying to psych me out and stuff like that. They're on a power trip. Were they on a power trip? Sure, maybe. But if you're in a tribunal, you're gonna ask questions. I can't get offended by asking questions, but whatever. Next scene is purgatory time. So they get to the purgatory, and, you know, TJ's like, whoever it is, come down. Ashley goes down, and the tribunal, they have their vote, and all 5 of them vote for Dee. And so it's gonna be Dee and Ashley. And the name of the elimination this week is called Code Breaker. So basically what everybody has to do is there are 2 giant wheels, and they have to spin them, and whatever symbol that the wheel lands on, they have to find the symbol in the little hanging pots. And the little hanging pots that are hanging down, they have to break them and find the symbol, and go take it to this little board thing. And then basically, once you get all those symbols, you have to turn them over, and then there are going to be like 5 seasons of the challenge, and you have to list them in order. Also, how you get up to break the pots, you have to use these little rolling dice things, and you roll it, and you have to stand on top of it, and you break the pot. So that's that. So basically, TJ blows the horn, they get started, and right away, you know, it's looking like, for a minute there, it was looking neck and neck, but ultimately Dee takes it to the forefront. She's breaking pots, she's finding her symbols, and she is the first person to get to the 5. But Ashley's kind of lagging behind. When Dee gets her 5 symbols and she flips them over and everything like that, she makes a good point that the challenge does not air in Australia, so she is not familiar with any season that she wasn't on with the challenge. So that presents a problem, but obviously, you know, she has a great ally in Wes because he decides that he is going to tell her what order all these seasons go into. And I know a lot of people, I think on the show and a lot of fans were like, how is this fair? But if you think about it, at every other elimination, everybody is allowed to yell and scream and help this person out and help that person out. And now when it comes to this, you know, it may not be the person that you want to win the elimination, but, you know, it is what it is. So Wes helps her out, but Dee says that she can't even really hear Wes. So I think she ended up having to, put them all in order herself, and she ended up getting it right. But regardless of however it happened, Dee ends up getting all the seasons in order, and she wins this elimination, eliminating Ashley. After all that, before Ashley leaves, she decides to call Wes a snake. He's a snake. Says that he's been working with her too, and you know, she's saying it in front of the whole house. Bananas is having a field day with this because even though he's working with Wes this season, he still can't resist any opportunity to where Wes is getting dogged out by somebody else. So Ashley says all that stuff about Wes, and it is what it is. TJ bids her farewell, and that's a wrap on Ashley this season. But yeah, basically that's all for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. Yo, if you made it this far, you might as well like and subscribe. You might as well. So if you made it this far, like and subscribe. I'll be back next week with another recap video. Thank you for watching once again. As always, until next time, peace out.